Well, hello, Take Two family. Welcome to your show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher, and as we have been saying for almost 6 years, approximately 5 years, 353 days, and you are the key person. You are the one that we are going to learn from. We're going to grow. We're going to get closer to God by your takes, by your life experiences. And Jerry, I did check the calendar. We are talking about recurring dreams today. I know I shared that yesterday, but it is today.
That's right. We want to know if you have recurring dreams and what you think about that. 833-288-3986. 833-288-EWTN. Many other ways you can get a hold of us. We'll tell you about that as we open the first segment of the program here. But looking forward to talking about this. And Debbie, you were sharing off the air a little bit about what recurring dreams actually kind of mean.
Well, some psychology sites have stated that it could be unresolved conflicts or persistent conflicts, things that you just, are worried about, you go to bed thinking about, or even they're just kind of in your subconscious there, just laying there, always. And then they come out in this recurring pattern, and it's the same dream. That's what we're talking about, those dreams that happen over and over and over again with the same intensity, the same vivid imagery, that's the same exact kind of rhythm to those dreams. If you've had these type of recurring dreams, please call in or just share in general about dreams. Maybe there's something that you could teach us about dreams or that you have learned in your own life. We want to hear from you. Here's the number. Rich is waiting to answer your call. 833-288-3986. And our friend Mary Beth said, I don't know if this is a joke or if she really does have these recurring dreams, but she says she has a recurring dreams she keeps sending things to the wrong email. But I think that was a joke. Have you ever had that though, where you had something like a miscommunication in dreams, and you try to chase it down to correct it, and you can never get the. Have you ever had that? No,
I don't think I have. No.
Do you even have? Marty doesn't even have dreams. Do you know that?
Oh, really? Yeah. No, I have dreams. I have very vivid dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, I have vivid dreams too, but Marty doesn't have any. I said, every morning, it's like so exciting. I wake up, I go, did you have a dream? He goes, nope. I don't know what that means either. If we have a psychologist who's listening, please let us know what that means if you've never had a dream. Maybe there's nothing going on upstairs. I don't know.
Well, I have a question for you. Could a dream, if you have recurring dreams about something, could it be something that you did in your life or you experienced? And, it kind of is no longer, but you still sort of dream about it?
So something like traumatic?
No.
Or something like
let me tell you the example.
Give me an example.
Yeah. I was in formation for the priesthood for 6 years. You know that. Many people know that. For a number of years after I went out of formation and got back into radio, this time Catholic radio, I would have dreams that I was back in the seminary.
Oh, okay.
See,
okay, so we're going with this. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's just sort of I'm dreaming about, because that was part of my lived experience, and if that's some of the things you have recurring dreams about from time to time.
Well, okay, so you're talking about kind of almost like muscle memory. I would agree with that because, as you know, I was raised in the golfing world since I was 4 years old, and after I finished and I retired from playing golf, competitively. I had dreams all the time about being on the golf course and playing different rounds of golf, in different places, all the time. And it was so vivid that I actually, I felt my body making the golf swing. It was really bizarre.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, another thing that I have recurring dreams about, and it has been definitely a huge part of my lived experience. I used to play basketball all the time, and I still, to this day, have recurring dreams about playing basketball. They are the coolest dreams. I wake up from them, and I have been, playing up around the rim, and I've been feeding great passes and making long shots. And literally, I just wake up and kind of sit up on my bed and say, man, that was fun. And these
Have you
happen
ever
all
done
the
this?
time. What?
Okay, have you ever done this? And I've mastered this as a little kid. I don't know if maybe this is really odd and something's wrong with my brain or something, but I can, if I have a really good dream like that and I don't want to wake up from it, I can go back to sleep and pick up where I left off. Have you ever
Wow.
done that?
Yeah. I've tried. Yeah, it's happened a couple times. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
it would be nice if for dreams like that we could just we have just hit the pause button, hit the play button again when we go back to sleep.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to work on Marty. We'll have to work on him. He's got to have a dream before he leaves this earth.
I'm sure
Maybe
he
he
will.
does. He probably just doesn't remember it. He probably just goes into such a deep sleep he doesn't remember. Who knows? But folks, we want to hear from you. Phone lines are lighting up. That's a great sign. We have 2 open phone lines. Dreams we're talking about today, mainly recurring dreams. That same over and over and over again, the exact same dream. And as soon as you hit that dream, you're like, here it goes, this exact dream. We want to hear what you learned about that. Maybe you did go to a specialist, a sleep study specialist, and find out what that means. Could you let us know? 833-288-3986.
Well, we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there are other ways you can get a hold of us, as you certainly know if you're a regular listener to the program. But if you're new or relatively new, you can send us an email, not just during the show, but anytime. We get tons and tons of email. We read everything. We try and respond via email as best we can. But that is take two at EWTN.com. You might be wondering, is that the number or the letter 2? Actually, either one of those will work. Take 2 at EWTN.com. During the program, you can text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response, and then make your comments after that. Depending on your phone plan, there might be a small data rate. We stream the video. Hello to those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, EWTN channels. You can put your comments there. Jeff Burson, our social media manager, will get those to us. And you can also post comments at the show website, which is take2show.com. So a lot of ways you can participate.
This is interesting. One of our listeners just sent this in and said that they have had a recurring dream when they were in college, after leaving college, that they were still in college and they missed like a certain class, like math class or something like that. Yeah, and they had to explain it to the professor. I have had dreams like that.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say those are kind of scary because you can't fix it, right? You're just living through it in the dream.
Yeah, I've got one that I can share that I think you'll find very interesting when we come back and start going to the phones.
I'm a Dominican, and St. Dominic was an itinerant preacher who ran around and touched people's lives by open-air preaching. The radio opens the possibilities of doing this to the entire world, and it feels very much as the realization of the great mandate to go and teach all nations, following our holy founder, St. Dominic.
EWTN Open Line Thursday with Father Brian Mulady. This afternoon, 3 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
60 on 10 with Monsignor Charles Pope.
The fifth commandment, you shall not kill. At the heart of this commandment is an absolute insistence on the sacredness of human life. We read in Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5, "Before I ever formed you in the womb, I knew you, says the Lord." So every human life is sacred because it's caught up in the mind and the heart and the will and the love of God. And no matter how we're conceived or any circumstances, God has always known and loved every human person. And for this reason, we are to hold sacred every human life. We are, therefore, to never murder, never kill, never seek vengeance. Of course, we have issues of abortion and euthanasia today, and we have so many ways where we in some way disrespect the lives of other human persons, and even our own life. We have to learn to respect it as a great gift from God. The fifth commandment, you shall not kill.
For more about the 10 Commandments, visit EWTNRC.com.
And we thank you always for being with us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio, talking about recurring dreams. A lot of people weighing in already on that, and we just did have a phone line open. It just was taken, 833-288-3986. Going to be an interesting and I think a very informative conversation that we're going to have. And before we go to the calls, I just want to mention EWTN Radio Essentials. It is it's a separate feed of programming, and it's not really I don't want to call it programming. It's devotionals. It's a Holy Mass every 2 hours, rosaries, chaplets of Divine Mercy, Stations of the Cross, and other devotionals on EWTN Radio Essentials, which you can hear on the EWTN app and at EWTN.com.
Are you going to share about your college dream? I want to hear it.
Well, you just got that text from one of our listeners who said she dreams about having been in college, and what was it? She couldn't graduate because she missed a class or something?
Or missed a math class, and then she had to explain it to the professor.
Well, I told you you'd find this really interesting because I've shared on the show before. I think in Spanish all the time. Remember, I've mentioned that before?
All the time.
If I see a billboard, if I read something, I'm always translating it, imperfectly, of course, in my mind. But I used to have recurring dreams, literally, that I didn't fulfill my Spanish requirement or my foreign language requirement in college, which I took Spanish at Franciscan University. And I would have dreams that I did not fulfill that, and I couldn't graduate. And it was just the most frustrating thing when I'd have that dream, because I'd wake up and go, I did take Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But then aren't you glad you woke up from the dream?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Michael Birchfield, he's so brilliant. He's such a great producer, but he even knows things about just life. So he just shared when we just went on break that if I feed Marty a meal right before he goes to bed, Marty would dream. So let's hope Marty doesn't get 10 pounds heavier, but we're going to try that.
I'm going to try it.
We're going to try to feed him a meal right before he goes to sleep and see if he dreams. Oh, that is such a good one. Okay, we do have an open phone line at 833-288-3986. Please call in. Rich is waiting to answer your call and share about recurring dreams or any dreams that you may have or you want to talk about. You do not have to be Catholic to call in. You're part of the Take Two family if you're hearing the sound of our voices. Just like Miriam called in. Miriam, I'm not even going to attempt to say your town with you. I'll let you do that. Pennsylvania, listening on Alexa. Hi, Miriam.
Hi. Yes, it's Macungie.
Macungie. I was going to say that. Okay, let me start over. It's Miriam from Macungie, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Miriam.
Hi. Yeah, I love the topic. Me and my husband talk about our dreams every morning. So.
Oh, wow.
But so a recurring dream that I've had is a big house, and my grandparents used to have a 13-room house. So a lot of times it's my grandparents' house, although it doesn't look like their house. But there's a lot of rooms, and there's hidden passageways, and they go to, like, large auditoriums, like, in the basement. Like, it would never physically be possible. But, like, you cross through these, like, crawl spaces, and, like, you find all this stuff. And a lot of times I'm afraid of, like, touching stuff and, like, disturbing it, and it's, like, dusty, and it's, like, old things. I don't know.
That's really interesting. So you in your mind, you know it's her house, but it doesn't really look like her house, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. That is interesting. I have a similar dream. And the hallways, are the hallways extra long? Mine are so long. It's like they're never ending.
They have they're like passageways though. They're like behind the walls.
Okay.
But yeah, they are.
I wonder, okay, so now let me ask you this question. This is interesting. I think the reason why I have had those dreams is because I was actually afraid of, when I was little, of certain parts of my grandmother's house. Were you afraid of her house at all?
There was a little closet underneath the stairs. I was afraid of that, but that's because they told me like trolls lived in there, and they didn't, obviously.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is interesting. What do you think of that, Jerry? Do you ever dream of houses?
I don't really. No, I can't recall that I have had any dreams like the one that you and Miriam are describing. But it is interesting. You know, it sounds like you both have had very similar experiences with dreams like that.
Yeah, that is very cool. Now, Miriam, when you know that dream is coming, do you try to wake yourself up, or do you just go through it because you know what the ending is?
I usually try to let it go as long as I can, because sometimes I get to see like new rooms, and Like I said, I'm sometimes like afraid, but I still want to see it. So sometimes I try to like keep it as long as possible.
Interesting. And so, your husband has these vivid kind of dreams as well?
He does. His are different, though. He dreams a lot about barns and like broken household things that need to be repaired in the house, things like that.
Interesting. Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Too cool. It's a great imagination, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Miriam, thanks for calling and sharing that with us today. We appreciate you joining us on the program.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the topic.
Okay. All right, you're welcome.
Call us again. Yeah, call us
Glad
again.
it
And
resonated.
and stay listening because we've got full phone lines, so I'm sure there's going to be more of these really, interesting dreams.
Yeah, next one is coming from Kelly in Sioux City, Iowa, listening on Iowa Catholic Radio. Hello, Kelly. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I keep having the same recurring dreams, but I also want to add something to it that I just remembered when I was just a minute ago. I always have a dream that I'm falling, and it's really kind of scary. It's like I'm falling, and we have a construction going on in our house, and there's a big open spot that is really scary. If you fell down it, you'd probably die.
Wow.
And I keep having dreams. My husband won't fix it. I've asked him several times to put the railing around it, and it's dangerous because the front door's there, and I let the dogs out there, and I just have this reoccurring dream that I'm falling down there in that hole. And also, I just wanted to say that when I first go to sleep at night, I almost every time, 8 times out of 10, I have a nightmare. I'm not even sleeping yet, and I have a nightmare that something bad's happening to one of my grandkids. And it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling and a horrible dream. And then I wait. I can't sleep. So when
Kelly,
I do get to sleep, it's usually something really bad before I go to sleep.
Sure. Kelly, going back to the falling dreams, you may find it very interesting if you could internet search. Just type in having dreams about falling or a person that dreams about falling. And it talks about it's often associated with insecurities or anxieties or unstable situations in life that aren't serving you. So things that are not working for you. And so it's very interesting because for years I had falling dreams of falling, and that feeling was it was so frightening, and it was during a time in my life where I was very insecure about a life situation. And I was trying to somewhat control it. And they said if you kind of relax and release some of that control, it helps with the falling. Have you ever looked into that?
No, but what you just described is exactly what I think it is. Because I'm living in a hostile environment. I have a lot of grandkids that have been going down the wrong road. I have a death of a brother that he died in 1983, and I can't get over it. And I obsess over it. I go to church faithfully. I pray the rosary. I practice my faith as good as I can. I try to go by off the 10 Commandments, not to do those things, and to love God first and then to love other people. But the person that I'm not loving is me. And that might be another show, but it might have something to do with my dreams, too. Insecurity.
Yeah, well,
anxiety.
Kelly, yeah, absolutely. Love of self, and this is it's a multifaceted issue we could talk about. Like you said, it could be another show, but proper self-love. There's the kind of self-love where it kind of becomes narcissism. And I'm sure that's not what you're talking about. You just need to really, truly love who you are, who the person that God made Kelly to be. and we're going to pray for that you have that peace. You maybe if you need healing or what have you, maybe you can talk to your priest about that, and maybe there's some healing available through praying with a priest or with a prayer group or something like that. But it's interesting, Debbie. I know you didn't access any resources or anything, but I did a quick search online, and it's almost verbatim what you said. The very first thing that shows up, holding on to a situation in life that's not serving you, hidden insecurities, anxieties, unstable situations in life. That's the first little description of falling dreams that came up there. That you were saying that almost word for word.
Well, I think I mentioned this a few times. I did a dream course in school, Kelly, and I was fascinated by it. And so I studied a whole semester on dreams and sleeping and sleep patterns and all sorts of things. And so I found it just fascinating how when people will take their problems with them, to sleep. And we really need to have a restful sleep if we want restorative sleep. We wanted to repair all our organs and stuff like that and to get us ready for the next day. And so I was fascinated by it. And when I heard what you were saying, it just triggered in me exactly what I remembered in myself. And I agree with Jerry. I'm a firm believer, Kelly, in Gregorian chant. Before you go to sleep, it's very peaceful, and it gets you in a good place. I'm also a big believer in gratitude journals to do everything that is good right before you go to sleep, and it really kind of sets the mood for the body to rest, because you do need that rest, Kelly, because you don't want to wake up, deprived of any deep sleep, because then you're just carrying that along day to day to day, and it wears you down.
Right. Well, thank you so much. That makes perfect sense. I will look into that, and I'm going to make some changes.
Excellent.
I think that when it's happening to me, I can't figure it out. And so it was just really good to call and to say it out loud, and to get your feedback really helped me a lot. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Wow. Praise God. Yeah.
Yeah, you are most welcome, Kelly. Providential that you were listening and that you called in and got through today on the program. Thank you so much, Kelly, in Sioux City, Iowa. We appreciate it very much. Madeline is listening in San Antonio to Guadalupe Radio Network. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Madeline.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I love this topic.
Oh, thanks.
So I do wish I had some of those fun and exciting sports dreams like you have with basketball, but mine are sort of haunting. One is the one that you described earlier about showing up for a college final and you've never been to the class. And I never cut class in college ever. I don't think once. And my grades were decent, so it's kind of a strange one. But the second one that I have all the time is about traveling, and it has to do with packing. I'm overpacking, or I never finish packing. I'm going to miss my plane, and I've never missed a plane. I used to travel a lot. I dream that I'm on a bridge in a strange town, and the bridge ends midpoint, and it's up in the sky. Or I can't find my car. I'm lost in a neighborhood. And the strange thing is I never get where I'm going.
Interesting. Debbie, do you have any thoughts on that?
I've actually had those airport dreams. I know, and I personally believe, this is just my personal opinion, I think I get those when I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure I'm showing up at the right time, arriving at the right time, making sure I make the flight. Because Jerry and I, for years, did a lot of traveling for pledge drives for affiliates around the country. And so I was going from plane to plane to plane, and I would have those dreams as well. Like I was running through the airport. Remember those old commercials? I think it was O.J. Simpson, I think, that was running through the commercial. That was me. I was running and I never got there. And then it would just end. And I think that was just because I put so much pressure on myself to be on time for something, or to show up prepared. And it's interesting when you look back at your own life, when you kind of relate it to your own life, you can kind of see some of the characteristics of yourself that are coming out in the dreams in just a very vivid way. Do you see that? I'm just curious, Madeline.
Yes, probably. I'm pretty hard on myself, and I like to be, I like to have things very orderly. And so, I think probably there's some anxieties about whether I'm getting things done well enough. And so this travel theme seems to manifest that anxiety.
Yeah. No, it seems to be very, very much related. It's interesting. Yet Debbie mentioned as the amount that we have traveled. I've hosted over 350 Catholic Radio Pledge drives. Up until recently, they were on location at the station. So I have been on and off of airplanes. I can't tell you how many times. And it's interesting. I have not had those. I've had many dreams while I was on airplanes because I like to sleep when I'm on planes, but never had those dreams about missing planes or not arriving where I was gonna be. So interesting take, Madeline. Thank you for sharing that with us on the program. We appreciate that. Listening in San Antonio, keep listening and please call the show again anytime. You're welcome to join us. God bless.
Join EWTN for the principal feast of the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament, the Solemnity of Corpus Christi Mass, live from Huntsville, Alabama, Sunday morning, 10 Eastern, on EWTN Radio and Television.
Friends, are you sensing that your life is a little out of balance? It happens to all of us from time to time, but there's an amazing way to get things back in right order. Begin to do that at standtalltoday.com. It's our life coaching site where you can get a consultation with a coach of your choice absolutely free. Millions of people have changed their lives with life coaching. Will you be next? Just visit us at standtalltoday.com and get started on the new you.
This is Life Issues with Brad Mattis, president of Life Issues Institute.
Scores of Americans know the monumental contribution of pro-life pregnancy centers. Members of Congress do too, and thought it was high time this humanitarian effort was honored. Over 60 members of Congress introduced a resolution in both the House and Senate to designate the week of November 8 as National Pregnancy Center Week. Thousands of these life-saving centers serve nearly 2 million people each year. Their services include ultrasounds, pregnancy tests, mother and baby supplies, job training, safe housing. The list is extensive. A thorough report was published to showcase the enormous resources these centers provide to women and men facing an unexpected pregnancy. Visit lifeissues.org and click on the microphone icon for details.
Like us on Facebook at Life Issues and stay informed, more informed than you've ever been.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. Do you have questions about the Catholic faith? Get the answers on Call to Communion, coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is your show, and you are taking it and making it a great one again on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Jerry Usher with Debbie Georgianni and the show team. Michael Birchfield, our producer. Jeff Burson is watching for your social media comments, and we have Rich Jesse on the phones. And want to thank our affiliates for carrying the program as well. Without them, you wouldn't get the show every day. So thank you all so much for being such a great team, the Take Two show team. We're going to go back to your calls about recurring dreams. Mary in Dallas, Texas, listening on Sirius XM 130, calling for the first time to Take Two. Hi, Mary.
Hi, can you hear me?
Just fine, yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, thank you so much. I love your show. I listen to you guys all the time. So my reoccurring dream is my mother passed away when I was young. I'm the oldest of 8. And years later, my dream was that I would find her in a nursing home. And she would be in a wheelchair, and she'd be so sad. And she would say, no one has come to visit me. And so I would wheel her out, and this makes me sad just thinking about it. And then I'd have to tell her that my father remarried, which was so bizarre. And then I would just wake up, but I would be so upset that she was so sad. And I'll tell you what's even more bizarre was that I went to visit her grave. I live in Texas, and she's buried in Jersey. And decades later, I went to visit her grave, and those dreams stopped.
Wow.
That was weird.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. That was my reoccurring dream. I had another reoccurring dream that I used to battle Satan. That was a bizarre dream. I would be screaming at him in my dream. I have crazy dreams. But, and that was, and I'd wake up and that was like, I'd be very distraught, but I would have won, I would have won in that dream.
Mm-hmm.
I would have banished him to, he would have gone away. So those are my two crazy dreams.
That is, I just want to comment. I want to comment about visiting your mom when you went to go visit her at the gravesite. That is so interesting. I wonder if that, bordered a little bit of a kind of a gift from heaven above, of saying, go visit her, go visit her. And because I'm a big believer in visiting grave sites. I'm a big believer. My mother taught us when we were very little to respect those that have passed and to clean off their graves and to honor them and to give them that time, that precious time of our day. And so I find that very interesting, Mary. I just have to say that. And the other thing too is about the battling Satan. There are a lot of people that have dreams like that, and the way to some people really are pretty shaken up by it, is to make sure you have a blessed rosary nearby, or wrap the rosary around your hand and hold on to it, and that usually calms any type of fears like that, especially when they're any type of Satan dreams or devil type imagery. But that's interesting. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, yeah, kind of going in reverse order, the one about battling Satan. I've actually had experiences like that myself, Mary, and even to the point where I could not wake up. I felt like I was completely pinned down in my bed. I couldn't move at all. And Debbie and I are good friends with Adam Bly. His name is Adam Bly. He's a religious demonologist. And his advice to me was get some holy water and dab it on my eyes, close my eyes, put the holy water on my eyes, the top of my head, my forehead, my ears, just the areas where, we sense and experience things. And that really pretty much took care of that situation for me. And then the other thing about your mom, and I don't even know quite how to articulate this, but the one thing that we all that concerns us most when a loved one dies, and by the way, we're sorry about the loss of your mother at such a young age. The one thing that concerns us is their destiny, their salvation. That's what we hope for anyway. And it could be subconscious. Maybe there was just some kind of, hope or, fear or concern on your part. Maybe it was just completely subconscious, about whether she made it to heaven or not. And that trip to the cemetery was probably, like Debbie said, that gift from God, that reassurance that says, here you go, Mary, this is the answer to your subconscious, concern that you had about your mom. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe it's completely off base. I don't know.
Well, it's funny you say that, though, but of all the people that I know that have died, I'm absolutely positive, because she was anointed so many times that she's
great.
there. But like you said, it definitely could be in my subconscious. And I'll tell you what, the Gregorian chant, the gratitude, and I keep rosaries under my pillow, and anytime I wake up, now I haven't had that dream about Satan in so long, I will say that because I feel like God just wakes me up in the middle of the night. Somebody needs prayers, so I will just say my rosary. But I do love keeping my rosary under my pillow. And the Gregorian chant, so beautiful. Love that. Mm-hmm. I do that. I've just recently started doing that. And then also the gratitude. I've been doing that for a couple of years now. It changes your life. It just changes your life, So.
It does.
Well, there's my dreams. I got to say, my husband has dreams where he wins the lottery every single time. I like, are you kidding me? He gets up, he's like, I won the lottery. I'm like, yeah, well, Satan visited me last night, so I don't know.
Well, Mary, let me ask you a question, though. He has dreams of winning the lottery. Does he play the lottery?
No, he doesn't. He hasn't. We only play when, it's $1 billion,
okay.
with everybody else. But
well, wouldn't that be
so detailed? And he's like, he's like, he knows how he spent it. He pays off mortgages of all. I have 8 siblings. He pays their mortgage off. He goes through the whole thing. But I haven't had those hideous dreams in a while, so I think the rosary and the is a
Mary.
great
Mary, I picture this funny joke when your husband's all done with his life here on earth and he gets to the pearly gates and God says, I kept giving you that lottery dream. Why didn't you play? You have to play to win.
That's true. That's true. That's so funny. Well, listen,
That
this
is
is a great
too
topic.
funny.
Thank you. I've called before, and I'm glad for the insight because that does help me, and I love your suggestions. I think they're absolutely spot on. The rosary, the Gregorian chant, and the gratitude. Beautiful. God
You're
bless.
welcome, Mary. Thanks for
you so
calling.
much.
Yep, you'll never be a first-time caller again. Thank you, Mary in Dallas. Zach, one of our regular listeners, emailed take2@EWTN.com. Dear Jerry and Debbie, I no longer work, but I frequently dream that I am at work and can't perform my job.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I wonder if that was a high-stress job they had.
Yeah, Zach doesn't say. He just says
That's interesting. Zach, let us know right back. Say, was that a high-stress job that you had in the past? That's interesting because I wonder if you're still taking that with you because that it hangs on a bit, the stress of things. Yeah. Okay, where are we going next? There's so many comments coming in. We could do like a part 10 of this.
Get to a couple of YouTube comments, people watching the video stream on YouTube. Alex said, I don't remember most of my dreams. The ones I do tend not to be so pleasant. My wife tends to have many spiritual dreams. I wish I would have dreams of God and heaven, but for some reason I don't. And Michael J. says, my most recurring motif in my dreams is tornadoes, and I've never actually seen one in person. Interesting.
Wow. No, I have to tell you something. Do you remember Alfred Hitchcock's movie, The Bird? The
Birds?
The Bird. Yeah, The Birds. My parents let me watch it at a young age. I don't know why. I don't know what they were thinking. It totally traumatized me. I had bird dreams for years that these birds were doing these horrible things. And to this day, when I see a bird, I duck.
No pun intended, right?
No, but I say to my parents one time, I said, Mom, what were you thinking? She goes, I don't know. You seem to like the movie. So that's interesting. You know, you can have, I mean, I wonder if you've either seen a movie with a tornado, or you've seen a newscast, a news story about tornadoes or something like that. Have you ever had that where it kind of stays with you when you see something on the news? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tracy is next in Greece, New York, listening on. Our friends at the Station of the Cross, and a first-time caller as well. Hi, Tracy. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello there.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Just fine.
Okay, great. I don't have too many dreams now that I remember, but when I was growing up, I had many recurring dreams. I had one that was not so positive, but I'm going to share the one that is positive. I was raised Protestant, and when I was about 11 or 12, started having a dream of I was in the hospital, in bed, holding my firstborn son, and my family was all surrounding me. I could see everyone clear as day. My parents, my brother, my husband was there, but he was kind of foggy. I couldn't really see what he looked like, but I heard his voice. I had that dream, I don't even know how many times through the years. I met my husband when I was 23, and I knew he was going to be my husband because I heard his voice from my dream.
Wow.
We've been married almost 24 years, very happily married. I am now a Catholic. I became a Catholic 20-plus years ago now, and I really think it's our guardian angel or God. Someone is speaking to us and giving us what we need here on earth.
Yeah. I think you've pretty much figured that out, Tracy. Great perspective, great insight on that. And what a beautiful gift. I can just imagine, what you were thinking at that moment when you first heard your future husband's voice and related it back to those dreams. It had to be just quite a jolt in a sense, but hopefully a very joyful jolt at that. Debbie, what do you think?
Oh, I totally agree. What a gift from God you received, Tracy, that as soon as you heard the sound of your future husband's voice, you knew and you were familiar with it. I think that's very special, and how wonderful. And welcome home. Welcome home. You came into, when did you come into the church? What year?
Let's see. We met in 90. I have to do it based on things. We met in 1995.
Okay.
So I believe it was in 1996.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It wasn't
What
long.
a great,
We were together, and I knew I was going to marry him, and I knew he was Catholic and wouldn't marry someone that wasn't. And I said, take me to church with you within a month of meeting him. And he was like, whoa. I'm like, yes, I'm ready. Let's go. So I was floundering, anyway. So God put him there when I needed him, and it was just amazing. Amazing.
So then you put a new meaning to he's the man of your dreams.
Oh, yes. You got it. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like you said, it was a jolt. We were out at a Christmas party. He worked with my brother at the time, and my brother's date fell through, so he brought me along, fill in the blanks there. And I was like, okay, don't react outwardly to this. This is really freaky, kind of weird. And it took me a long time before I told him, probably 5 years. We were married and had our son already. And I finally said, okay, you need to tell him this dream business, because he doesn't have any dreams that he remembers at all, ever. So it's very opposite for us. But, yeah, God was he knew what he was doing with me, It's amazing.
Yeah. Interesting. Beautiful story about what God has done for you and for your husband and your family. Tracy, thank you very, very much for joining us here on the program today. And like we say about all first-time callers, you'll never be a first-time caller again, but we hope that you will call. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. God bless you, Tracy. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
God bless you as well.
Okay.
Thank you. We have social media coming in like crazy, which I love, and we have text messages coming in. But can I just mention something really quickly?
Sure.
The Catholic Cafe, Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Deacon Jeff talks about viaticum, or the Eucharist for the dying. It's usually reserved for Catholics nearing transition to eternity. But perhaps if we view every day as possibly our last day, we can receive Holy Communion with a new understanding of heavenly food for the journey. So the Catholic Cafe, Deacon Jeff, you got to hear it Sunday morning, 10:30. Don't forget to tune in. I'm very familiar because my mom just received viaticum. So my mom's on hospice for the final time. So
God bless her. Yeah.
Like Connie, I have to just share this with all our listeners because we have new listeners each and every day. My mother absolutely loves Jerry Usher, but she always says that nice fella. I'll say, Mom, Jerry's praying for you. She'll say, that nice fella. That's your title, Jerry.
She's obviously not my mom, because she would know me. She would know me better.
That's sweet.
Cool.
That's sweet. I know. My mom's crazy about you.
She's
okay,
a sweetheart.
So yes, thank you. Where are we going?
Well, I wanted to mention our social media manager, Jeff Burson, actually weighed in on this topic himself. He says, hey, it's me. My recurring dream is I'm talking to my deceased daughter in an old Western cowboy movie town hotel. We have deep conversations we never had in life. She will sometimes tell me how wonderful heaven is and how I should not worry for her or miss her. It happens every couple months. That is definitely recurring.
Wow.
What a beautiful dream.
Yes. That is amazing. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing. You see how the whole Take Two family and our show team, we all share together, we learn and grow together, and we experience each other's lives through your takes on things. And this is what we do here on Take Two. So are we going to go back to the phones or more?
Sure,
comments?
let's do that. Yeah, go back to the phones. Sure.
Who's next? Tell me who's
Berta.
next.
Berta is next, listening in the Villages, Florida on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Berta. Welcome. Thanks for being patient.
Hello, Jerry and Debbie, and thank you for your uplifting spiritual advice. I appreciate it. Actually, I'm someone on the side that hardly ever dreams, but as I was listening and waiting, I remember a second dream. I was going to speak like the previous caller. I have to remember a dream I had with my mother after she passed in 2008, so probably would have been in between 2008 and now, maybe in the last probably 10 years. And it was audible, so I could hear her. So, it was very pleasant hearing her voice. And I commented that to her one and only sister left of 8 brothers and sisters, my godmother, and she said usually those audible dreams are more spiritual. So, I just left it at that. But I thought maybe Debbie saying that she has some master's degree on dreams, she could help me out a little bit, just curious. And on the other side, as I was waiting, the dream that came to me was years ago also, there were two priests in our parish that were ill. One was borderline ill, and the other one was, we knew he was probably going to go. But we were praying for them, and I had a dream during that time of two chalices. And I don't remember all the specifics, but I mentioned it to one of the other priests, and I also mentioned it to a friend. And my friend said, you should write it down. So I did write it down. I don't remember the details, but I did write it down, and I wrote this a one-page thing about the dream. But it was vivid, the two chalices, and they were very symbolic, and it left me with a lot of peace. And those are the only two dreams that I could even remember right now of my lifetime. But I just wanted to share that, but especially I wanted to know about the audible and whatever comments you have.
I don't know, Berta, first of all, thank you so much for the kind words. I don't have a master's degree in any type of sleep. I just took one class. I actually have a theology degree, but here's my best guess at hearing, having those dreams that you can actually, they're audible and you can hear them clearly and you remember the sound. We function through our senses, and you even look at scripture, right? What does it talk about when scripture? You learn through hearing the word. Okay. There's a real key to that. It sounds like you are very spiritually tuned in. I think it's wonderful. And a lot of people wish for those kinds of dreams. I think most of us take our worries and our anxieties and our stress and pressure, and we take it to sleep with us. You, on the other hand, are having these very, kind of clear, peaceful, beautiful encounters. I think that's wonderful. So it's just a guess, but I would think that does lean towards maybe more of the spiritual. What do you think, Jerry?
No, I think that's very well put. Yeah, definitely. I love your analogy about Scripture. It talks about, faith comes through hearing, and it is very. I've had dreams where I've heard voices of people speak and so forth, and I kind of wake up and I look around the room a little bit and say, "Is anybody here?" No, but there aren't anybody there. But this is a beautiful, beautiful experience that you're sharing with us, Berta.
Thank you, and thank you. I can identify with Debbie and the upbringing of visiting the gravesite. I'm always for that all the time. Around every year, I go and clean everything, like you were saying. And I could identify with Jerry and Franciscan University. I've been there for many conferences in the 90s, and Father Mike was very special, very special. I went many pilgrimages with him, and he also was retreat master for 3 retreats in a row in Panama for us in our prayer group.
You were very, very blessed, Berta, to have those experiences. And yeah, Father Michael Scanlon was a great, great leader of Franciscan University, and still a very fine, wonderful, great place to be for people to send their kids to go to college, among many other good Catholic colleges and universities. You mentioned the passing of your mother, Berta. We keep a prayer book. If you are comfortable giving us her first name, Debbie will add her to the prayer book. And these prayers are lifted up all day and all night around the clock by Take Two family around the world.
Thank you so much. My same name, Berta, Berta, and then you can include my father. He passed 17 years before her, Victor.
Victor and Berta. Okay. We will absolutely do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for calling in and sharing with us today. This is what I love about Take Two. We walk away, with a better understanding, of ourselves and what's going on with other folks. And it brings us together as the mystical body of Christ. I love that aspect of Take Two, Jerry.
Mm-hmm. Me too. All right, we're going to get to as many of you as we can today. As usual, we're running short of time, but we have still great calls coming up, including Luann, who is in Bergeron, Michigan, listening on the Ave Maria radio app. Another first-time caller to Take Two. Hi, Luann. Welcome.
Thank you. I want to share a dream that my husband had.
Okay.
And it was Thanksgiving morning, 1993, and he came down, and I was in the kitchen, and he normally comes right to the coffee pot and poured his coffee, but he went past me and sat down, and so I poured his coffee and took it to him, and when he took the cup, I looked, and he had these big tears coming down from his eyes, and so I asked him what was wrong, and he said that he had a very lifelike dream about his mother, and she had passed away the April the year before that. And it was his first dream he'd had of her, and he said she looked so lifelike, and he just she had her hair cut before she died, and before that she'd had this beautiful bun that she always wore, and so in his dream she had this bun, and he said, I think my dad is angry at me. And so that totally threw me off. I couldn't figure out where he was going with the dream. And he said in the dream, he was on one side of the road with his mother, and she was grinning and just as happy as she could be. But his dad was on the other side of the road giving him a dirty look. And so he said, I think I've done something that has made him angry. And I didn't poo-poo the dream, but I tried to analyze it, but it was Thanksgiving and I had stuff to do, so I got on with my baking. And 3 weeks later, my husband was killed in a car accident. He ran a red light, and he was broadsided by a semi-truck. And I remember that dream about 3 weeks after he died, and I thought, I actually took comfort, and I realized that his mother, who had passed, was on one side of life. The road symbolized life, or maybe even the scene of his death, and she was happy because he was about to come to where she was, but his dad had the look of grief that he took for anger. And so, like I said, that dream has always given me peace, but I'm not so sure it gave him peace. I think it bothered him why it was so vivid in his mind. So that's my dream.
Wow, Luann. That is an amazing story, and we're so very sorry for the loss of your husband like that. It had to be very, very difficult for you. Obviously, we want to get his first name and your mom's first name, any other people you'd like to put in our prayer book. But, yeah, I guess the beautiful part of this, and you probably, I'm sure, reflected on this many, many times, is how you explained it. It gives you now, you have that dream to look back on and to have that sense of peace, that sense of hope. His mother apparently was smiling, like you said, and she was very peaceful and in a beautiful place. So yeah, again, Debbie, God, this one took a little unpacking, I think, and a little bit of time for the fuller meaning of it to come through, but yeah.
Yeah, and what a shocking death your husband experienced and you went through in the grieving process, Luann. Our hearts are just breaking for you. That must have just been such a shock to receive that call. And like Jerry said, if you feel comfortable, adding your husband's name or anybody in your family or his family, our hearts are just breaking. Could you give us his name,
It's
Luann?
been 27 years, so I've had a long time to grieve, but it was a wonderful, peaceful dream for me, and I'm glad he shared it. But his name was Ed.
Ed, okay.
His mom is Dorothy, and his dad is Bill.
Okay, Dorothy and Bill, we got it. Thank you, Luann. Thank you for sharing with us. Patrick and Bernadette, we're not going to get to you, but we'll revisit this topic again. Jerry, this is a great show. We learned a lot.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about how difficult it can be to say goodbye, ironically. And that's going to be our week-ending broadcast here on Take Two. And in the meantime, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, pray for us.
I am Father